The forgotten legends in the deep void between the stars. The galaxy was ruled by ancient powers, races that believed themselves eternal and untouchable. They had long written their history on stone, metal, and stars, and in those records, one name always appeared as myth: humans to the Council of Races. Humans were nothing more than whispers. The elders said they once walked among the stars long before the council was formed, but no proof remained. Some dismissed the stories as superstition. Others called them campfire tales told to keep soldiers brave. Yet in secret, many feared the possibility, because every legend said the same thing: when humans rise, war itself changes. On a fractured world at the edge of council space, a distress call echoed through the darkness. A mining colony named Maris 4 had been struck by raiders. The invaders were merciless, a predator species that fed not only on resources but also on fear. They enslaved the weak, destroyed families, and marked planets with their cruel banners. The call was desperate, sent out on every frequency, across every relay. But the council did not respond to the people of Maris 4. It felt like silence from the heavens. Hope was gone. The invaders spread fire across the colony, turning skies red and choking the air with ash. Miners and farmers tried to fight back with old weapons, but they were broken in hours. Children hid in tunnels, mothers wept, and fathers fell with rusted rifles in their hands in the ruins of the main settlement. The colony leader stood among the smoke and whispered, "If the old stories are true, if humans ever hear this call, let them come." The message continued to travel, through abandoned beacons, forgotten satellites, and blackened debris fields, until it reached a place no one believed existed, far beyond the outer rim. Hidden in the shadow of a dead star, machines stirred. Sensors long dormant blinked alive. A language thought extinct scrolled across cracked screens. The words were clear. Distress call received. Priority. Human life threatened. For centuries the human fleet had been silent, their ships sealed in a graveyard of metal and light. But at that signal, doors opened, engines awoke, and the sound of thunder filled the void. One by one, dreadnoughts emerged from the darkness. Colossal warships forged for a time when the galaxy itself shook at their arrival. Their hulls bore scars of forgotten wars. Their weapons glowed with restrained fury, and in their command decks, human officers stood, eyes hard, voices steady. They had been waiting, not asleep, not extinct, but patient. The fleet commander looked at the display of the burning colony and spoke a single line that echoed across the ship. "They believed we were legends, now they will see the truth." As the ships aligned, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Maris 4 still burned. The raiders still hunted the weak. But above them, stars flickered as shadows grew. The first dreadnought cut through the veil of night, its massive frame blocking entire constellations. The raiders stopped in their cruelty and looked up. For the first time, fear crossed their alien eyes. Legends had come to life, and the galaxy would never be the same. The sky turned black. The raiders had ruled this sector for years. They laughed at the weak council races, took what they wanted, and burned the rest. But when the first human dreadnought appeared above Maris 4, their laughter died. The ship was a mountain of steel drifting through the heavens. Its size dwarfed the raider fleet 10 times over. Every surface bristled with weapons that hummed with restrained energy. The sight alone crushed courage, but it was only the beginning. One dreadnought became 3, 3 became 7, 7 became a fleet that blotted out the stars. Shadows stretched across the burning colony as if night itself had fallen again. The colonists hiding in tunnels crawled out, their eyes wide. They could not believe what they were seeing. Old stories had come alive before their very eyes. The raider commander barked orders in panic. Their ships scrambled to form lines, but against the humans. Their movements looked like insects buzzing against a storm. The humans did not speak at first. They did not broadcast threats or warnings. Their silence was worse. The fleet only shifted into perfect formation, like hunters surrounding prey. Then the voice came, not loud, not angry, but calm. It rolled across every channel in a language no alien had heard in centuries, yet somehow every being understood it in their own tongue. "This colony is under human protection. Leave now or be destroyed," the raiders snarled in rage. They thought the humans were bluffing. They unleashed their weapons in a storm of plasma fire. Bolts screamed through the sky, crashing against the dreadnoughts' shields, but the giant ships did not even flinch. The energy rippled across invisible barriers and vanished like sparks in water. The colonists watched from the ground as the sky lit up. They expected the dreadnoughts to fall, but instead the human ships answered. A single broadside thundered from one dreadnought. One blast of white light, and an entire raider cruiser split in half like paper torn by a blade. Silence fell again. Even the fires on the colony seemed to quiet. The humans had not just returned. They had returned with power beyond imagination. Panic rippled through the raider fleet. They tried to retreat, but the dreadnoughts closed the exits. More weapons fired, precise and unstoppable. Alien hulls cracked and melted under the human barrage. Ships exploded one after another until the sky became a graveyard of fire. Yet the humans did not strike blindly. Their shots avoided the colony. Every blast was measured, cold and exact. They destroyed only what threatened life. They fought not with rage but with control. And that terrified the raiders even more. From the tunnels below, the colony children cheered. Farmers cried openly. The leader of Maris 4 fell to his knees, whispering thanks to legends he never believed in. In the command deck of the largest dreadnought, the fleet commander studied the broken raider ships. Reports streamed in. Most of the raiders were fleeing. Their formations shattered, but the commander's gaze hardened. "Leave no predator alive," he ordered. "The galaxy must remember what happens when humans awaken." The fleet moved as one. Sleek destroyers and carrier escorts surged forward. They hunted the raiders across the system. Trails of fire followed in their wake as one after another. The predators were erased for the first time in living memory. The galaxy witnessed what it had once feared. The humans were not myth, they were war embodied. They were justice delivered on the wings of thunder. Above Maris 4, the survivors raised their eyes to the darkened heavens. They whispered in awe. The sky turned black. And the legends came for us, but in the heart of the human flagship, officers exchanged uneasy looks. The commander's calm voice broke the silence. "Our return will not go unnoticed. The council will tremble. Empires will rise against us. Predators will unite. But none of it matters." He turned his gaze back to the burning horizon. Because humanity is no longer in hiding. The galaxy had awakened to a nightmare. And that nightmare was human. Whispers in the council news of Maris 4 spread faster than light. Wreckage of raider ships drifted in orbit like broken bones. Colonists whispered about the black sky filled with warships. And across the galaxy the word returned to ancient tongues. Humans, in the Grand Council chamber. Rulers of 100 species gathered. Their voices clashed in panic. Some demanded answers, others demanded silence. The air shimmered with fear more than debate. "The reports cannot be true," hissed one delegate, his scales shivering. "Humans are myths. No proof remains." But the images from Maris 4 played across the chamber walls. Grainy recordings of Titanic ships blotting out constellations. Blasts of energy carving through raider fleets with surgical precision. And in one recording, a calm human voice echoed through static. "This colony is under human protection." The chamber fell quiet at those words. They all understood. The humans had not asked permission, they had declared. Old races remembered fragments of history. Records burned by time but still etched in memory. Stories of wars no one dared to retell. Whispers of a species that fought not for conquest, but for survival, and in their survival they brought entire empires to ruin. "If they have returned," muttered one elder, "then the balance of the galaxy will shatter." While the council argued, ordinary systems trembled on border worlds. Soldiers spoke in hushed voices. Pirates abandoned raids. Predator clans whispered that the nightmare had returned. And those who had laughed at human legends now feared the shadows of every star. Back on Maris 4, the colonists stood in silence as human officers walked among them. They wore armor scarred by battles no one remembered, yet their presence felt like home. Children clung to them without fear. Farmers offered food even in their hunger. And the leader of the colony asked only one question: "Why did you return now?" The fleet commander did not answer at once. He looked to the heavens, where debris of raider ships burned in falling arcs. "We never left," he finally said. "We waited until the galaxy forgot." "Because forgetting made you careless," the colony leader frowned. "Careless?" "Yes," the commander said, his voice heavy. "You placed your hope in a council that watches suffering and does nothing. You trusted predators to leave you scraps. You believed humanity would never return, but we are here, and now the galaxy will learn." His words carried both promise and warning. The colonists felt protected, but they also sensed a storm far larger than their world. In the council chamber, fear turned to calculation. Some argued to welcome the humans. Others demanded war before the dreadnought fleet grew stronger. But deep down, they all knew the truth. If the humans had truly been hiding all this time, then their strength was not new. It was ancient, honed and waiting. "We must send envoys," one counselor cried. "We must kneel." Another whispered. But a predator delegate slammed the floor with a claw. "No, we will not kneel to ghosts if humans rise again. "We will unite and strike them down," his words echoed, but even his own allies shifted uneasily. Because in their hearts, they remembered what the old myths had always said: no one strikes down humanity without paying in blood. The chamber dissolved into chaos. Plans for alliances, betrayals, and wars were whispered in the same breath. But through it all, one truth spread like wildfire across the stars. The humans had returned, and they had not come as wanderers. They had come with a fleet. On the edge of known space, the Dreadnoughts waited, not advancing, not retreating, they simply lingered, their shadows stretching across systems. A silent reminder that humanity was watching. Every race felt the weight of that silence, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. In the flagship, the commander stood before his crew. "The Council will move against us," he said. "Predators will rally. Empires will tremble, but that is what we want. Let them come," an officer asked softly. "And if they unite against us?" The commander's eyes hardened. "Then they will learn why humans were never meant to be forgotten." Outside the viewport, the stars burned cold, and the galaxy whispered a single word in fear: humans. The Predator Alliance. The galaxy moved quickly once the Council realized the humans were no myth. Panic turned into schemes, schemes turned into alliances, and at the heart of it all, fear drove every decision. Predator species who once hunted alone now gathered together. They spoke in secret halls lit with fire. Their claws tapped against metal as they plotted. "The humans cannot be allowed to rise again," one growled. "Our ancestors warned us of their wrath," another hissed. "Then we must strike first," a third declared. And so they signed their pact in blood and steel. An alliance born of terror, not trust. Hundreds of warships gathered on the edge of known space. A coalition of predators who once hated each other now aimed their rage in one direction, toward humanity. Their fleets filled entire systems. Weapons glowed with stolen technology. Armies roared in preparation for a war they believed they could win. In the council chamber, fear mixed with relief. Some races believed the predators would destroy the humans and restore balance. Others prayed silently that the predators would fail, because deep down they knew if humans were defeated, no one would be safe. Meanwhile, on Maris 4, the colonists rebuilt their shattered homes, but whispers of the Predator Alliance reached them. Farmers asked if the humans could truly stand against so many. Miners feared another firestorm would fall on their heads, but the children, who had seen dreadnoughts in the sky, only smiled, they believed, aboard the flagship. The commander watched reports stream in. Intel showed predator fleets moving like wolves circling prey. Their numbers grew daily, but the commander did not flinch. Instead, he smiled coldly. "They think numbers will save them," he said. "They forget what humans are." The fleet was not idle. Deep in the hidden shipyards of dead stars, more dreadnoughts awoke. Old engines roared after centuries of silence. Hulls scarred with forgotten battles gleamed once more. From dark vaults, weapons were brought out. Weapons that once changed the course of wars, and now would do so again. Young officers gathered in the war hall. Maps of enemy fleets hovered before them. The commander's voice cut through the air. "They will come with everything they have. They will burn their fuel. They will throw their armies. They will bleed their worlds dry to destroy us, and they will fail. Because humanity does not fight for conquest, we fight for survival. And survival makes us unstoppable." Across the galaxy, rumors spread. Raider clans told stories of dreadnoughts that fired once and destroyed whole flotillas. Traders whispered of human soldiers whose eyes burned with unyielding fire. And in the shadows of forgotten archives, scribes uncovered forbidden texts. Texts that spoke of the first time humanity rose, and how empires that stood against them turned to dust. But the Predator Alliance was blinded by arrogance. They marched forward, convinced their united power would erase human legends forever. Thousands of warships advanced toward human space. Their engines thundered. Their weapons gleamed. Their commanders roared victory before the war had even begun. When the Predator fleets entered the border system of Karnas, they found silence, no defenses, no resistance. Only a single human beacon broadcasting on every channel. A simple message, and we are waiting. Suddenly, the darkness lit up. Dreadnoughts emerged from hidden fields like mountains tearing through the void. Dozens became hundreds, formations locked with precision. Their size and power made even the largest Predator battleships look like toys. And in the center of it all, the human flagship glowed with a light that made the Predators tremble. The Predator commander shouted orders. Their fleets opened fire. The void screamed with plasma and missiles, but the humans answered with silence once more. They held their fire. They let the storm crash against their shields. And when the Predators began to believe they were winning, the humans unleashed their fury. Entire lines of Predator warships were erased in seconds. Human weapons tore through shields as if they were air. Massive beams split fleets in half, and smaller predator ships were vaporized before they even fired twice. It was not a battle. It was slaughter. From Maris 4 to the distant Council worlds, the reports came. The Predator Alliance had challenged the Legends, and the Legends had answered. The humans did not retreat. They advanced. Each dreadnought moved forward with the weight of history behind it, and the Predators who once believed themselves eternal realized the truth. They had awakened something they could not control. The final warning. The Predator Alliance entered the battle with fury. They roared, they screamed, they filled the stars with fire, but fury could not match precision, and rage could not match discipline. Human dreadnoughts moved like shadows across the battlefield. Their weapons lit the void with white light. Each blast tore entire fleets apart, and every Predator commander who thought themselves mighty watched their armies vanish in minutes. The Predators threw everything they had. Wave after wave of ships surged forward. Missiles screamed. Plasma storms rained down. But the human shields held strong, and when they broke formation to regroup, the humans struck again, cutting through their center like a blade through glass. From the flagship, the commander's voice echoed across the fleet. No mercy for those who prey on the weak. Let the galaxy watch and remember. The humans did not waste ammunition. Every shot was precise, every strike crippled a warship or shattered a line. Their dreadnoughts became executioners in the dark. And slowly the Predator Alliance crumbled. Panic swept through enemy ranks, ships fled, formations shattered. Commanders who once swore victory now begged for retreat. But there was no retreat. The humans were everywhere. Dreadnoughts cut off escape routes, destroyers hunted survivors, and carriers unleashed swarms of smaller craft that burned stragglers from the void. On Maris 4, colonists huddled around screens broadcasting the battle. Children cheered at every Predator ship destroyed. Farmers whispered prayers of thanks, and the leader of the colony trembled not from fear but from awe. "We are watching history return," he whispered when the last Predator fleet broke. Their leaders sent desperate signals to the Council, pleading for help. But the Council remained silent. None dared to intervene because they knew what humanity was, and no one wished to stand in their way. As the wreckage of thousands of Predator ships burned in orbit, the humans broadcast a single message across the galaxy, their language old, their voice steady. Yet somehow every race heard it in their own tongue. We are humanity, we are not myths, we are not ghosts. We are the storm that comes when the weak cry for help. We are the fire that answers cruelty. We are the blade that cuts down predators. We are here, and we are watching. The words echoed through systems far and near. On Council worlds, rulers fell into silence. On Predator worlds, fear ran through every den and lair. On small colonies, hope lit in hearts that had long forgotten it. But the humans were not finished. The commander stood before his officers, his eyes cold. The Predator fleets are destroyed. But their worlds remain if they rise again. They will return stronger, we cannot allow it. And so the Dreadnought fleet moved again, not to defend, but to strike. World after Predator world saw the black skies fill with human warships, and one by one their banners were torn down, their armies broken, their leaders dragged before human tribunals. Justice came not with fire alone, but with order, and soon Predator empires that had thrived on cruelty collapsed. The galaxy trembled. Because this was not just vengeance, this was judgment when the wars ended. The humans returned to Maris 4. The colony rebuilt under their shield. Children ran free without fear, and the leader looked up at the sky where human dreadnoughts lingered. "Will you stay?" he asked the commander. The commander's gaze was steady. "We will not rule you, we will not chain you, but we will never leave you undefended again." The colonists bowed their heads in gratitude, and across the stars whispers grew louder. Legends had become reality, and reality had become unstoppable. In the council chamber, silence reigned. Not one dared to challenge. Not one dared to speak against humanity, because they knew if they did, the black sky would fall upon them too. And so the galaxy entered a new age, an age where predators trembled, where tyrants hid, where empires feared, and where the weak lived under the shield of legends reborn. The Dreadnought fleet remained in the stars, watching, waiting, unyielding, and the galaxy whispered a single truth in every corner. Humans had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same.